Oh no, it's kale. That's what I gave you, kale, your prayer.
All rise. Commissioner Notstein, you may lead us.
Lord, let us pray for those who were affected by last evening's storm. We pray that they will have the power restored and damaged property be repaired or replaced in a timely fashion. We are thankful that there was only one serious injury reported and no deaths. We are thankful for all the first responders who were exposed to the elements of lightning, wind, and rain. The dispatchers who were overwhelmed with hundreds of calls in a short period of time. Let us not overlook the public works who are restoring power and clearing roads of debris. Lord, we are thankful for the much needed rain. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're not online yet.
Caleb, see, they're trying. Did they inform us reason as to why not?
Brandon.
I know we had an issue with it, or was that just your laptop?
IT listing in?
Well, we can proceed.
Is it out? Okay.
But it's just us. It is
Put it onto the other screen, it's live.
very good. Proceed.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten. Following approval of these minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. Your next item is the approval of the minutes. I'm going to take this in two motions. The first is the minutes from June 13th, 2024.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Show me as abstaining since I was absent.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Okay. Next is the minutes of June 20th, 2024.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
I will be abstaining from that since I was not present at that meeting.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes, I'm glad we all showed up.
Now they all know we don't come to work.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes, I was here. Make
You have a
note.
meeting by yourself.
Taxpayers, make note. The new guy gets to be at all of them.
He was our surrogate.
Yes. Are there any guests here concerning county business? Hearing none, we will move on.
Next item is a presentation for the Carbon County Comprehensive Plan and Greenway Trail and Open Space Plan. Mr. Tim Staub, Project Manager, HRG Incorporated.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, physical visitors as well as online visitors. My name is Tim Staub. I am the project manager for HRG for your County Comprehensive Plan and Greenway Trails Open Space Plan. And I just wanted to first introduce myself as well as give you a brief update as to where we are and what we hope to accomplish over the next 6 months. And hopefully come back and visit you again and give you a sense of where things are at that point in time. So a little background in that essentially we're developing two separate planning documents. The first is the comprehensive plan, and a traditional comprehensive plan touches on land use, transportation, infrastructure capabilities, natural resources protection, and similar topics. However, those, like your previous comprehensive plan, were developed and they were typically 300 to 400-page documents, comprehensive. The new trend in planning is to be more implementable. We're still looking at those same topic areas. However, we try to identify what are the key areas that need to be addressed as part of that process. And so, in other communities and counties that I've worked in, it could be, addressing affordable housing, or it could be the educational graduation rates, or infrastructure improvements to be close to the population densities, and so on and so forth. And so, from a county perspective, we try to prepare a policy document that can fit all communities, not just the county itself, but also your local municipalities, your school districts, your EMS providers, and so forth. So that's what we will try to accomplish as part of this process. From the Greenway Open Space and Trails perspective, they're just like the comprehensive plan. We're going to approach it in a similar fashion. We want to identify what is the most important thing. Is there a link in a trail network that we need to get to promote economic development, or possibly a way for people to get to their work destinations? The other aspect is understanding the movements of the county in regards to the open space referendum. How are you set up for implementation associated with that? Is there anything that we can assist with you in that area? Should we be looking at the health of the open space, or is there, areas that you guys are concerned about of being purchased for development that you don't really want, and that's in the path of growth, and maybe that's a priority area? So those are the topics that we're looking at. And so, again, similar to the comprehensive plan, this document needs to be for all people, your partners, and in collaboration and implementation, because the county cannot implement the entire document by themselves. You need the support of local foundations and all the organizations that I previously mentioned. We started the process in February. We had our first steering committee meeting in February, March timeframe, and so essentially we've started an education process with that committee as to what those two documents are. And we asked them to review your previous documents. What worked? What didn't work? What's still good? And those are the questions we're asking of the committee at this stage. And if it's still appropriate that we need to implement the project, it wasn't implemented because the timing wasn't right? Maybe we didn't have the financial resources there. Maybe we didn't have the administrative support. Those are the questions that we're asking this committee associated with the previous plans. Now, we just put a pause in meeting with the committee, one, because of the summer activities and trying to coordinate the meeting, as well as we wanted to take an opportunity then to get more information on specific themes that we talked about earlier that we're hearing. We conducted a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, for both project plans. And some of the themes that are starting to come out are some of the items I identified previously. Do we have the appropriate infrastructure associated to build the county economically? Is there affordable housing in the community? How can we, we've heard, how can we replicate, Jim Thorpe and some of the other communities? We have growth pressures from warehouses associated with in the northern part of the county. So how do we overcome some of that, or is that appropriate, and how do we provide the proper infrastructure around it? The other reason why I'm here is to promote, we have an online survey on the county website, on the planning page, working with David and your staff here to get a survey out. It's digital. It's approximately, if you printed it out, it would be 2 pages, so you could get through it in about 5 minutes. So I'm encouraging everybody that's listening, as well as the commissioners, if you will, promote that survey. Because right now, we have not received a good response rate that we could use as a statistically valid survey. So if you could share it with your groups, to whether it's school districts, fire clubs, and those types, to point them in that direction, so that way we get the feedback that's necessary to the document is meeting what you desire.
I'm glad you brought that up, because from what I understand is that, you know, even those appointed to the committees haven't been showing up, and how extremely important it is for these people to get out there and be involved. The same, we have the Transportation Committee meeting or hearing coming up on July 1st at 10 o'clock, and that's at
44, bro.
44 here in Susquehanna Street. And if people don't show up, and this has been the history previously, that we have these meetings and no one shows up, but yet they complain about things unless they show up and do the surveys, show up at the hearings, we're not gonna get anywhere. You brought up the affordable housing. I know we had a meeting yesterday with a group that's pushing for affordable housing or working on some things. The transportation has always been an issue, and the education there is that people aren't riding it. We gotta get ridership. We can't provide door-to-door service like some people expect. And you mentioned EMS. You don't know what the crisis is here along right now. The wait time for an ambulance is lack of personnel and lack of funding is a lot of that is going on. Lack of volunteers is getting to be a major issue as far as fire service. A recent incident I was at, you know, the 4 pieces of apparatus in one station, one got out and the other 3 are sitting there, and one pickup got out with a fire policeman, and only 3 or 4 people from that department for a working fire, so, and I think it goes back a lot to the, step on some toes, but you gotta go back to the municipalities and what their responsibilities are, whether they like it or not. They are responsible for all these issues and being more involved, so.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it too, because I said, here we sit and we gotta make decisions. There, I mean, look, what Wayne was talking about, but now municipalities are talking about alert programs and everything else, and how can we make a decision when we don't even know what the communities want? You know, it's just like when we had to land a bus coming in here, the more information they get, where bus stops need to be, that's sort of what we're looking for. We wanna know where our bus has to stop, you know, to get involved in some of these different programs, because, I mean, we're making decisions for either Weatherly, Palmerton, Lehigh, whatever it is, and we don't know what the community really wants. You know, and this is the community's opportunity to get out here and say, this is what I like, I don't like that. I mean, we've been talking about, you know, you brought up warehouses. Is everybody 100% against warehouses? I mean, the way that the world is today, everybody orders online, so maybe a group where they wanted to put 4 warehouses, maybe one's okay, and maybe something else would be for the other land use that's there, but how do we even know that? We don't even get the public input.
Yeah, and that's, coming out of the pandemic, unfortunately, you guys are not alone in having problems getting people to come out and provide response rates. So what we've been noticing and what we've been doing is trying to meet people where they're at. The good thing is then we try to get a volume of people. However, we don't oftentimes get to dig as deep, right, with those conversations. So that's why we're trying to pivot and try to do a couple things of like getting the word out, like today, and then, you know, attend maybe your county fairs or your local fairs to, again, continue to get the word out. But also we're looking for people that want to be engaged. I volunteer a lot. One of the first questions I ask is, you know, how much involvement is it gonna be for me? And then can I commit to that volunteerism? I don't wanna put out blanket statements, but volunteerism in society is generally down. So what do you gotta do to overcome those things? You know, do you continue offering those services, or do we have to find new ways of offering those services? And so that's part of the conversation as part of this process. So I will give you my contact information if you don't already have it, and if there's specific areas or people that you wanna talk to or have us talk to, be more than happy to do that, because that's part of the process. So just to let you know, we have not made any decisions yet. We are just doing data gathering. We did all the digital and or previous planning data gathering, and we're trying to get now the public feedback gathering, and then we'll sit down with the committee to move forward with writing the plans. Any other questions?
Before we move on, does the media have any questions? I'm sure you do.
Good morning.
morning.
For the survey, when are you hoping to have all the answers back to me for that survey?
So the survey's been open since April, and typically we keep it open for a month. However, like I said, based on the response rate that we received hasn't been what we had hoped. We're gonna probably keep it open all summer and close it at the end of August.
Okay. And then when is your anticipated time to have this plan done?
So both draft plans need to be completed by the end of the year. And so then we'll move into implementation or the official adoption process thereafter. And so the Sunshine Law, as well as the municipality's plan code, tells us there's a script that we have to follow that, you know, has to be available for review for so many days and has to be shared with the joining counties and so forth. So, but we're hoping to have the idea is that we're gonna move to implementation by the end of this year. So that way, the commissioners can plan accordingly, as well as the local municipalities, school districts, and so forth.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you noticing any trends on the survey so far?
Unfortunately, it's too low to even gather a trend at this stage. You know, most of our feedback is from the SWOT analysis that we got from the committee. And we're meeting together as well as online to try to boost the participation rates for those. But, you know, a lot of the information and where we started from has been the same as what we knew when we came in and investigated the county, you know, prior to proposing. So.
That's all I have unless someone has something else. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's Lindsay too. He knows how to nail them.
Your next item is the report of executive sessions.
There were none.
Okay, the department reports, the budget transfers.
Motion approved.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The supplemental appropriations.
Motion approved.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Expenditures, approval of check numbers 244-424 through 244-564 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account, totaling $3,194,989.01.
Motion approved.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The treasurer's report.
Motion.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The personnel report for county departments.
Motion approved.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The acknowledgements for courts and row offices.
Motion acknowledged.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed copies will be made available to the press upon request. Next item is Children and Youth Services. Fiscal year 2024-2025 purchase of service agreements with the providers as listed as per the attached rates.
Motion approved and executed.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Thomas Rudders, Westlaw, for approval and execution. Recommendation from the Children and Youth Administrator for a 3-year agreement with Thomas Rudders for, Westlaw Precision Primary Law for use by the Children and Youth Services Solicitor. Monthly cost for 1 year is $364 per month. Year 2, $382.20 per month. Year 3, $401.31 per month. For a total cost of $13,770.12. This is for the full 3 years.
Motion to approve,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Correctional Facility for approval and execution, an agreement with Prime Care Medical Incorporated of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to establish the MAT program medical assisted treatment. Service will provide a physician for an additional 2 hours weekly and an LPN for 56 hours a week for medicine disbursement at a cost of $135,205.64 annually, with an aggregated cap of $40,000 for MAT medications.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Human Services for acceptance, the 2023-2024 first quarter, October 23 to December 23, 2023, and second quarter, January 2024 through March 2024, inventory utilization report and invoice expense reimbursement requests for the Carbon County Emergency Food Assistance Program, TFAB, which has been submitted to the Department of Agriculture.
Motion accept.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Information Technology for approval and execution, renewal of a 5-year service agreement with Penteledata for phone system primary rate interface for the administration building, 76 Susquehanna Street, and the courthouse at a monthly reoccurring fee of $1,434.28. This is no change.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
For approval and execution, another agreement, 3-year service agreement with Penteledata for phone service and upgraded internet service at the Carbon County Correctional Facility in Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania, at a monthly reoccurring fee of $261.65 and a one-time fee of $149.95.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
We have several Integra One agreements. The first one, agreement with Integra One of Allentown, Pennsylvania to set up cloud backups for Office 365 and to set up a searchable archive of emails for a total cost of $1,777.50. This is CoStar's agreement number 003-E22-580.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
An agreement with Integra One of Allentown, Pennsylvania to finish migration process by decommissioning the on-site Exchange 2016 server, verifying full functionality of Office 365 for a total cost of $1,552.50. CoStar's agreement 003-E22-580.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Agreement with Integra One of Allentown, Pennsylvania for services to begin migration of email inboxes from Exchange 2016 to Office 365 for a total cost of $8,257.50. CoStar's number 003-E22-580.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Vistacom for approval and execution, proposal received from Vistacom of Allentown, Pennsylvania to purchase a mounting bracket and installation services for the correctional facility. Total cost of $1,370.14, which will be funded by the correctional facility's COVID relief grant. CoStar's contract number 034-E22-156.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Planning and Development, CDBG, for approval and authorization. Notice of the Section 504 officer as required for the 2024 Community Development Block Grant application.
Motion to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Next item, we need a motion to authorize the advertisement.
Motion to advertise.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The CDBG Fair Housing Notice for adoption and execution. First is to adopt the resolution number 24021 and notice.
Motion to adopt.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Next item is to authorize the advertisement.
Motion advertised,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
CDBG, a change order. Change order number 2 to the contract with Northeast Industrial Services of Shamokin, Pennsylvania for Lehighton Borough clearance and demolition 135, 139 North First Street, fiscal year 2020, 21, and 22, due to contract price increasing $7,000, new contract price of $257,015. Original contract was $250,015.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The Solicitor's Report.
Thank you. First, under Children and Youth, seeking a motion for approval and execution of a renewal agreement with Tammy Cole of Lehighton, Pennsylvania for cleaning services at the Children and Youth Office located at 525 Iron Street in Lehighton in the amount of $4,200 per month. The term of the agreement is July 1st, 2024 to June 30th of 2025. The agreement will be for a term of 1 year, automatically renewing unless terminated by either party upon 30 days advance written notice.
Motion approved, execute,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Next, seeking a motion to adopt Resolution 22 of 2024, honoring Philip Ciccinelli, member of Boy Scout Troop 555 of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, on attaining the rank of Eagle Scout.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Also seeking a motion to adopt Resolution 23 of 2024, honoring Phoenix Calavoda, a member of Boy Scout Troop 555 of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, on attaining the rank of Eagle Scout.
Motion to adopt.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Next, for tax assessment, seeking a motion for approval and a payment of a refund of county real estate taxes to Rebecca Forte for property located in Mahoning Township due to a board appeal decreasing the assessment to $817,246, and the taxes were paid in the discount period, resulting in a total refund due of $219.71.
Motion approved, make payment,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Also seeking a motion for approval and payment of a refund of county real estate taxes, property located in Towmensing Township, belonging to Emmanuel and Rael Garbadikis, approximately. Also, due to a board appeal decreasing the assessment to $27,995, taxes were also paid during the discount period, resulting in a total refund due of $356.66.
Motion approved, make payment,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Likewise, seeking a motion for approval and payment of a refund of county real estate taxes to Edward, Regina, and Anthony Canick, property located in Summit Hill Borough, due to a board appeal decreasing the assessment to $8,601. Taxes were also paid during the discount period, resulting in a total refund due of $109.58.
Motion approved, make payment,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
And lastly, for the Tax Claim Bureau, seeking a motion for approval and execution of a purchase service agreement with Edwards Business Systems of Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, for one BizHub C4000i printer at a total cost of $544.85, with 1.431 cents per copy, billed quarterly for maintenance services. And this is located at the Carbon County Tax Claim Bureau. And the maintenance fee will be fixed for the first 3 years with a 5% increase each year thereafter.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Mr. Honor?
yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Nothing further for the solicitor's report.
Is there any further business? Commissioners' reports, Mr. Honor?
None at this time.
Mr. Notstein?
Yeah, just real quick, a little bit about the storm last night. The dispatchers, they did keep people over with the pending storm, fortunately, and they brought additional people in. At one time, they had 6 dispatchers on. In just over a 3-hour period, they answered 401 calls in that period. Those calls continue today. I hear Scanner, multiple calls already this morning with more wires down, trees on wires, etc. So a lot of people without power. They're still busy. This past week has been an extremely busy week for the emergency services and several working fires and fire responses. But I really want to thank the public, and a post was put on Meth Up News, and I have to give that gentleman credit, where credit is due, requesting additional water and refreshments for the people at the First Street fire. We were there for, over 5 hours, requesting water, and the response was well overwhelming. I don't think I've ever seen a response to a call like that. Cases and cases of water were delivered, other beverages, like Gatorade, etc. There was fresh fruit, bananas, oranges, watermelon, hamburgers, hot dogs, hot dogs, cheeseburgers, pizzas. It was just, and I don't even want to guess how many people were there, how many responders, because of the heat, and we did have a water supply problem, and that was corrected with use of tankers and that, but it's just overwhelming how many people that had brought things out for the firefighters. The EMS was there providing refreshments, and every time they came out of a burning building, they do their triage and make sure they're check respirations, cool them down, etc. So the response, really, I just can't say enough about the response by the public and the businesses, and I thank them for that. That's it. Your turn.
Mr.
I'll
Snow?
let you go.
A few quick things. Number one is Mauch Lake. Obviously, we all know they're celebrating their 50th anniversary, and this weekend they are scheduled to have their first movie night on the beach. The movie is Migration. I do have a flyer here if anyone's interested. I would tell everyone though, in speaking with Dave out there, obviously if you look at the weekend weather, there may be some heavy winds and some rain being predicted in Saturday and Sunday, unfortunately. If that does happen, obviously the movie would be canceled and moved to another date. So I would just ask everyone to, stay close to your social media posts, your news media itself post, and they'll give you updated information on that. But they are looking for a very good event and very successful event, and I commend the entire board for doing a really nice job in setting that up and moving forward. I wish the weather will cooperate with them, but nobody can predict the weather, not even the weatherman. So I thank you for that. The other thing I would mention is, we've heard it, I'm not going to read on it, but July 1st at 10 a.m., when it comes to all these transportation needs and what is needed, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to try to find a way to get to that meeting or be at that meeting, because as both commissioners on either side of me have stated, that's where we kind of hear back from you. And I know we always hear different concerns and that nobody listens or nobody cares. Well, we do, and that's why there's that meeting at that time. That's why Lana is coming in to hear those concerns. So you need to bring that down. The other one is the open space, and I do see Dave Bodner, our planning director, back there. You've got to get online. You have got to fill out that information. It should be noted, very few people know this, but inside of PennDOT's budget, there is certain budget money every year that is allotted for trail development and for that type of space. And what drives that is those facts. And you often say, well, why aren't bridges in this being fixed? Because there is some Trails for Rails money, if I'm correct, Dave, or however it all works. But that money does become available. But those statistics drive what kind of money we get back to handle that. So without those facts and figures and data to drive that, that puts us in a very bad funding situation when we're trying to get money basically to help wherever the DNL or pass-through money. So I'd ask you that. The other thing is Commissioner Nostine and myself had visited Tent City. I know that was a very big topic at the beginning of the year. We were down there and reported back that we have probably 3 residents that are still there, or 3 people that are located in that area. We are trying to work with them to get them moved out and moved on. The dumpster that is there is about 3/4 full. They are cleaning up. It's not as fast or as quick to our liking, but we are slowly making progress. I do know that they have moved to other areas in the county and moved to other places, and that is on private property, that is not on county property. So we are working on trying to help there. We did have a meeting yesterday morning with another group that is discussing the possibility of having an organization that is looking at opening a homeless shelter or unsheltered, not only just for homeless, but for instance, here's a good example. And think about this, we just had a fire in Lehighton where 19 people. And we're looking at, there is areas there where there's people that are not, like you think of homeless is one thing, but they are truly homeless now. And where do they go for help and where do they stay? So we had a very good meeting yesterday with an organization that is looking to try to address that need and the unsheltered need. So that I'm not going to get into all details, but it was an overview as to where the county could help and where we could do some pass-through and grants. So I'm very happy to report on that. And the other one, the COG had a meeting this past week. I was very happy with them. It will be coming out in press releases, but I'll let it know here so the commissioners, you kind of got a heads up for it coming, but you would like to speak to the COG. But they had elected that every member that is a municipality and township that is a member of the COG is going to be receiving a $500 check back to that township and or borough to give to their volunteer fire companies. So I think that's a good return on, if you made a $100 investment in the COG this year to join, you're getting $500 back. And they saw as a group, and that was all representatives who were on there, and they can give you more information on that, Amy. But they voted more or less to give back to the fire companies, seeing the amount of calls and the severity of the calls. So that's a definite positive. And finally, the only other thing, and I'm surprised Commissioner Arner didn't comment on it, but he is headed up to the TIP program, as you hear about. And we all know we have many bridges in this county that need some repair. The covered bridge had been hit twice in the past 2 weeks. So in the last appointment, you saw where Commissioner Arner is going to be going up there on behalf of the Commissioner's office. And hopefully he can bring us some money back home, or at least get our name and get things moving on the TIP between himself and the Planning Commission. I'm sure they can. I don't know if you want to make any comment.
I think with being on this committee and since I've been here, my phrase that's on the wall is the worst phrase in the world. We've always done it this way. So I'd like to see, like even with PennDOT, maybe bring things to that improve the application process. It's too long. It's too tedious. People don't understand it, and to fill things out, that's a problem. One of the things that I pick up from other states is that they build bridges in a different way that we do. We have Slaws manufacturing in our own county, and you can plan an abutment and then plan an abutment and put a bridge. In some of these other states are building bridges, small bridges like the one up there at Hemlock, within probably 6 weeks to 90 days. Them are the processes that we got to start bringing here, because you see it in Stroudsburg, Allentown, all over. Every day there's a bridge closing, and it's affecting businesses. I mean, it's a lot better having a road shut down for 6 weeks to 90 days instead of a year. I mean, a year these businesses are going out of business, and it's just bad on the public. And I said, there's areas where, like out there at Hemlock, how do you attack a fire if it's at the one end of the bridge and you need 2 fire companies coming in? How do you come together? You can't. So, I mean, it's hard to work without a bridge like that just for a couple weeks. Imagine how many lives are lost within a year. I mean, the response time, I think, to a fire, I mean, Wayne, what is it, usually 8 minutes? If you're not there within 8 minutes, and that you can't believe it, like 8 minutes, somebody throws their pants on, gets in the truck, and is at the fire in 8 minutes. Now that's doubling the time, or maybe even tripling the time. And like I said, if somebody there at that bridge up there, yeah, Lehighton could get there to the convalescent home, But what happens if Jim Thorpe has to come the other way and attack the other way? I mean, you need all them fire companies together. And when you've got 300-400 people in a building, there are gonna be a lot of lives lost. So that, and people don't realize that bridges are very important to get to, you know, to get across, to bring fire apparatus. Even if a robbery, what's the response time if somebody breaks in your house with a gun? You're already dead, you know, if they can't get there within that 8 minutes. So that's what I hope to bring to like this committee. Maybe we can do it a little bit different in Pennsylvania, change it a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna try, but I'm hoping to do that.
And then, thank you. And then finally along that lines, and I know everyone always asks what the commissioner do, it should be noted that Commissioner Notstein on my right, it's kind of left and right here, but he spent time with NEPA this past week.
Last week, oh my gosh.
And he's out there trying to, believe it or not, he's trying to secure money and grant writing that actually helps on this side of the table. So I know the two gentlemen on either side of me don't always talk about that, but I do think it needs to be brought to the attention of what comes back. And actually, all of that work gets dumped to Ellie at the far end of the table. So I do want to, you see what's on the agenda, but you don't always hear what's happening behind the scenes. And I think you do need to know
And
that.
even like to continue on the bridges, like we always look at PennDOT, that we're going through PennDOT to always get the money. We do have to get on the tip to have our bridges on, you know, within a certain amount. Well, what is it dated, the 12-year plan? But there's federal money available out there that we could probably even get up as fast as next year. And then I'm hoping that some of them projects that are off in 2030, that they can be moved up like a couple more years, that we can get some of this stuff done. Because I said, some of these bridges that we have, I mean, we have 19 bridges, and some of the costs that we get, like even the one that's out there at Beltsville, I'm looking, that's $30,000-$40,000 or $1 million bridge. Where's a small county like that gonna get it? I think now we gotta start grabbing that federal money.
Anything to add?
Tell them you're looking for money, Wayne.
Wayne is. Wayne's looking for money. Rocky's looking to spend it. So with that, I have nothing further unless you have something else.
You may want to remind everyone regarding the complex closure next week.
Oh, yes. Why don't you do that? We'll let you do it.
Well,
You can tell all the non-essentials.
So we are definitely closed for the 4th of July holiday, but we are also closed, all facilities are closed except for 24-hour operations due to courthouse renovations. So we'll be closed on July 7th.
It's not only the courthouse that's affected, it's other offices with the court computer system, adult, juvenile probation, domestic magistrates as well. So it's a lot more involved and a lot more people involved, and the less people we have in the area, the people, the contractors can get in there on Friday morning. They're hoping to complete it in one day. But the contingency is Saturday and even Sunday if need be. So, yeah, it's new generators being installed, the changeover of wiring to the new system from the old. It's a big project, and they're doing as much work, preliminary work, as they can, so that's trying to make it that you unplug one and plug the other one in, but it's not that simple. It's a lot of wires. If you go over to the courthouse now and look at the wires hanging out, that have to be disconnected or reconnected, and disconnecting other wires. The building was 1893 when it was built. It wasn't built for today's excuse me, technology, so it was in dire need of a upgrade, as well as the heating, air conditioning systems and other things.
And as I had said, and I'll say it again, I know how the ad went out, but there is no such thing as a non-essential employee here in Carbon County. They all play essential roles here in the county, and I thank them all for being understanding through this, and actually to the residents for July 5th, because I do know some people plan on doing some work over the holidays, and obviously that's not gonna have to take place. So I do thank the taxpayers for being understanding in the fact that this is the best way we can do the shutdown. So on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank those people as well. Obviously, they pay the bills, so we thank them. I have nothing further. Anything else? Meeting adjourned. Amy's back, so we'll start with Amy today. How's that?
Good morning, gentlemen. With regards to the call, who is the person, the president right now?
Kara Scott.
Okay. That's all I have, and thank you very much.
Okay, with regards to the open space, I kinda wanted to talk to you guys about, I'm sure, you know, you've talked to residents about taking care of this. Do you kinda wanna reiterate why it's important for the county that they do this, how this affects the choices you guys make?
I would say that the reason, you have to understand is that the residents voted for $10 million. That's a nice piece of change here in a small county. And it's very important that, as they were very active in agreeing to the open space and going along with that plan and coming up with a $10 million issue, that they have say in how that money is going to be spent, how it's spent, and how much of it is spent at what time. And the only way to plan along that is to get some input from the residents who say, hey, we want to save our open space, but now it's a matter of, well, what would you like to use that open space for, if anything? So I mean, that it's very important. If you get on, I think maybe Dave and I can comment a little bit further as how in depth that gets. And I know it's kind of broad, but there is an in-depth look at that as to where you wish to see that money invested.
And when are you meeting with TIC?
That in 3 weeks from now, I think. I'm not sure what date is that, when our committee meeting is. With the NPL.
Do once a month, the
Second,
third Tuesday of the month is when the NEPA NPL meet. That's for the Rocky 77 lot.
That's usually up in
yeah, that's up in Pittston,
Pittston.
Pittston, that is.
Then July 1st, what's that meeting?
That is for the Atlanta Carbon Transit. They'll be at 10 a.m. at our 44 building here in Jim Thorpe, and that is to discuss transportation needs, route changes, route updates, whatever else can be brought up for people to voice their concern.
And this is open to everyone?
It's open to everyone.
Can you kind of talk about why it's important for people to come to that?
Well, yes, because if you do use public, like, here's what I always say: there's public transportation that's being paid for and taken care of by the county and Atlanta and agreements. If you want a bus stop here instead of in the courthouse instead of over at the market, I'll say, then the only way we know that is if you come to that and they look at that and they look at a cost analysis of what it costs to change that. If you don't come and voice those concerns, and you may think that nobody's listening, but we are, because that's why some changes have happened. We were presented with some proposals, and that's why it's important to come to that.
Yeah, and a
Did I
lot of
miss
times,
something?
like even like for instance, what happened out of the last meeting that we had, people didn't realize that you were supposed to call, and I live on a certain street in either Nescahoning, Lehighton, or wherever it's going to, and there's 3 people within 1 block. Now they know that there has to be a stop here. I mean, Lanta just can't, go, okay, I think there's people here. People have to report on where they need the service from, and then they can alter their plans from there. So I think it is very important that people come, and I think that last meeting really did open it up. Like Landa was happy for them to come in, and they don't look at it as like complaints. They need information so they can make the service better, and we want the service better.
And I think from preliminary, what we have seen is, one, as you will note on preliminary, nothing's agreed to yet. So I'm not gonna say, but if you look at what's been proposed, you will see where there will be 3, where last year there was the discussion and all that for years about the beach bus. I won't get into that. This new proposal has a bus on a daily, not a daily run, but 3 times a week, a Monday, Wednesday, I think it was Friday, going to the beach as part of their normal route, which serves the beach more during the week than obviously on weekend, but it does give families and the opportunity to be there, and that needs to be explained. It also added, currently what's being added is a trip to the Lehigh Valley. People have expressed some interest as to going down where they needed some business they'd like to do in the Lehigh Valley area. So that's been proposed. These are all proposals. These are not definite. And the other thing is, the reason people need to go there and ride is funding. I mean, the only way Atlanta gets funding is on ridership. So if they're not providing the riders, if they're not providing the service that the riders need, then their ridership goes down and money being made available to them, the county, everything goes down. So if they don't, everybody's kind of got to work together as to what's going to best meet the needs. So it's very important to be there to express that. Did I miss anything, Val?
No, and even like.
Grant coordinator over there, I don't want to miss
Well,
anything
like
just
he
in
was even
case.
talking about going to Allentown, we always did go, and they still do. But it's like, people like going from one mall to the other. Well, some of that transportation has stopped. So if there's a need for it, then maybe that's another access point that people could get, more access to all. And how do you know that if somebody doesn't say, you can't just say one person, I wanna go to Allentown and I wanna go to the other 3 malls. Now, if there's 20, 30 people, now they see it, and like Mike said, if there's a need for it, then Lanto will put in for the funding, and then you get it. But if you don't get the funding and see how many, have the accurate amount what people wanna go, there's no way that you can get the funding.
That's all I have, thank you.
Anything further? One? Oh,
Sorry.
geez.
Oh, we
You
got
said
out
the
of
beach
here.
bus, it reminded me, July 4th at Mock Chunk Lake, is that's,
The Mock Chunk Lake Board has said that the beach will be closed on July 4th to county residents only. It'll be on a management issue, meaning that
you mean open?
open, I'm sorry, oh, thank you. Where's it'll be open to county residents only for July 4th only. That is where they stand. I'm also gonna sit there, they're gonna manage that. So if things, as the day progresses, seems that everything's satisfied, that's under the management of Dave. So they've agreed that they will close it as county residents only on July 4th only. But that is not for the whole weekend,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Okay.
Right, that is all. Thank you all very much. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for being here.